Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Reynolds with B.O.R.E.D, Better Off Reading Every Day. Today's books are The Perfect Tea Party, Sophia the First, and Sophia the Second, Sophia the First. Boys and girls, it's the perfect day for a tea party. And all of our friends are here. Look, these are all of our Disney princess girls, or a few of them. They're here to have the party with us. I'm sure you recognize a couple of them. I don't have to tell you who they are. I'm sure you recognize them. So, let's get started. Shuffle it up. Shuffle it up. All right. We'll go with Sophia the Second first, okay? Early one morning in Enchantia, Princess Sophia is practicing her square dancing. She wants to be ready for the Highland Hootenanny that afternoon. All my friends from the village will be there, plus Amber and James are coming, and my favorite band is going to play, Sophia tells her rabbit friend Clover. Bear with me, I've never used these fingers before. There's a knock at the door. Clover hides, and Sophia's dad enters. The Duke and his daughter will be here any minute, King Roland tells Sophia. I thought they were coming tomorrow, Sophia cried. Today's the Hootenanny. I know, sweetheart, but their plans change, says the king, and you said you would show Joey around the castle when he came. Sophia is disappointed to miss the dance, but she knows she has to keep her promise. As Sophia leaves her room, she sees Cedric chasing his raven through the hallway. I'm trying to use my new copying spell on Wormwood, Cedric explains. So instead of just one loyal companion, I can have 20. Cedric points his wand and says, Doppler duplicado. He misses Wormwood and zaps a plant instead. Poof! There's 2 plants. This gives Sophia an idea. Sophia rushes to Cedric's workshop and finds a spare wand. I'll make a copy of myself so I can go to the dance while my copy plays with joy, she tells Clover. The bunny suggests that she practice the spell first. Sophia points the wand at an apple. Doppler duplicado. Poof! A pink apple magically appears next to the original red one. It's pink, but it looks just as delicious, Clover says. Sophia points the wand at herself and says the spell again. Poof! A second Sophia appears. She is identical in every way except that she is wearing a pink dress. I need you to play with a girl named Joy so I can go to the village dance, Sophia tells Pink Sophia, and please give her this gift. I'd love to, Pink Sophia says with a grin, taking the doll. As soon as Sophia leaves, Clover takes a bite of the pink apple. Yuck, he exclaims. This apple is rotten. Just like me, admits Pink Sophia as she tosses the doll out the window. Clover hops off to warn Sophia, but Pink Sophia grabs him. She locks him in Wormwood's cage and heads out to cause more trouble. Pink Sophia spots Amber and James heading to the dance. She throws an apple in their path. James trips and falls. Sophia, why'd you do that? He demands. Because it was hilarious, answers Pink Sophia with a crackle. Amber is surprised that Sophia would do such a thing, or something so nasty. She and her brother walk past her and enter the courtyard. Meanwhile, the real Sophia is already here. Hi, ready to go to the dance? She asked James and Amber. How did you get out here so fast? Asked Amber. And why aren't you wearing your pink dress? Sophia realizes her sibling must have seen her copy. Oh, right, I changed, she mumbles as she rushes into the coach. That will take them to that will take them to the dance. Sophia is thrilled to be at the hootenanny. She hangs her friends happy dances. She hugs her friends and happily dances to the music. But then a new song starts. The lyrics are about always keeping promises. Sophia starts to feel guilty. Back at the castle, Pink Sophia is greeting Joy. I am thrilled to meet you. Do you want to see my room? She asks in their sweetest, fakest tone. Along the way, Joey tells Pink Sophia that she loves her amulet. Here, take it, Pink Sophia says, and she fastens the amulet around the little girl's neck. Cedric can't believe his eyes. He knows how powerful the amulet of Albatar is and has always wanted it for himself. Now let's cause as much trouble as possible, Pink Sophia says. We'll play a trick on people. Just then, Cedric runs up. Pink Sophia, Princess Sophia, how could you give your precious amulet to this little girl? He asked. Pink Sophia grins. If you close your eyes and wish for it, maybe I'll give it to you. Cedric does exactly that, but Pink Sophia pulls Joy out of the room and leaves Cedric there with his eyes closed. That trick was mean, Joy tells Pink Sophia. I just want a tour of the castle. Okay, Pink Sophia agrees, but first, let's play hide and seek. Joy skips down the hall to hide. Pink Sophia races out of the castle into a coach. Pretending to be the real Sophia, she demands the coachman to take her to the dance. Sophia is happily switching from one dance partner to another next until she is face to face with Pink Sophia. Wait, if you're here, who's playing with Joy? Sophia asks. It's not nice to leave her alone. I'm not nice, says Pink Sophia. You can call me Sophia the Worst. Pink Sophia causes trouble all over the dance floor. She swings her partners so they bump into other dancers. She stomps on people's toes. She knocks off people's hats. The real Sophia runs after her, apologizing to everyone as she goes. Finally, Sophia catches up to Pink Sophia and pulls her into an empty barn. I have to go to the castle before my dad finds out that no one's playing with Joy, says Sophia, and you have to stay out of trouble until I get back. Sophia locks the barn door and rushes to her coach. Meanwhile, a castle servant spots Joy under the throne. I'm just playing hide and seek, Joy explains. Princess Sophia is going to find me. The servant looks confused. Princess Sophia flew off in a coach moments ago, he says. Joy is upset and angry. Nearby, Cedric goes into his workshop to think of another way to get the amulet. Finally calls Clover from Wormwood's cage. Let me out of here. Cedric is pleased to see Clover. He takes the bunny and offers him to Joy in exchange for the amulet. She happily agrees. Just then, Sophia arrives at the castle. She thanks Cedric for looking after Joy and Clover. Cedric looks puzzled when he sees the amulet on Sophia's neck. Wait, why are there two amulets? He asks. Before Sophia can answer, she spots Pink Sophia, who has escaped from the barn. She runs after her mean copy, and they both crash into her father and the Duke. "Sophia!" King Roland exclaims. Then he notices the other Sophia. "Sophia?" "Yes, there are two of us," Sophia admits. "I used Cedric's copying spell to make a copy of myself," Sophia says to her father, "but I wound up making a mess of everything." She asks Cedric to reverse the spell. Doppel-de-Minskus, poof! Pink Sophia disappears along with the amulet that Cedric had finally gotten his hands on. Sophia apologizes to her father and to Joy. "We can do anything you want," she tells her new friend. Soon they are happily dancing at the hootenanny. "Sophia, I'm so glad I got to spend time with the real you," Joy says. Then a moment later she adds, "It is the real you, right?" Sophia nods. "Yes, it's the real me. No more copies." I like this one, boys and girls, the end. Can you imagine if there was two of Miss Reynolds? Yeah, you'd be getting twice the stories and twice the fun. But since they aren't two of me, I'm just going to have to do twice the work, which is fine. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. The Perfect Tea Party. Tea party with our friends. Remember these guys? All of our princesses. It's an exciting day at Royal Prep. The fairies are choosing which student will host the annual school tea party. Sophia's new stepsister Amber explains the Royal Prep tea parties are really big events. They have merry-go-rounds, ponies, and even hot air balloons. Sophia has never been to a royal tea party. She just recently became a princess when her mother married King Ronald. In class, Sophia's teacher Flora holds out a teapot. Only students who haven't had a chance to host a party should submit their names, says the fairy. Sophia excitedly drops a slip of paper with her name into the pot. Flora uses her wand to stir the pot. Soon one paper magically floats out. "The host of the next Royal Prep Tea Party will be Princess Sophia," she announces. Sophia is thrilled. "You can throw any kind of party you like," Flora tells her. "This is your chance to show us who you are." On the ride home from school, Sophia talks about the tea party with Amber and her stepbrother James. "There have already been so many big fancy tea parties," she says. "I'd like to throw a simple tea party like I used to in the village. My friends and I would spread blankets on the grounds and borrow teacups from our mothers." James thinks this sounds cool. Amber doesn't. "No one wants to use borrowed teacups," she exclaims. "When it comes to royal parties, the bigger the better." Sophia starts to think that maybe Amber is right. She spots the swan fountain and tells Bailiwick, the castle caretaker, that she would like to have a swan-themed tea party. "We'll have swan-shaped cookies and cakes." "That sounds lovely," says Bailiwick. Amber likes the swan theme but encourages Sophia to think even bigger. Maybe Cedric the royal sorcerer can make the tables and chairs float in the air like swans float on water, suggests Sophia, "and the swans can put on a show." "That's more like it," says Amber. Later that day, Sophia is visited by friends from the village, Jade and Ruby. Even though Sophia is busy planning the royal party, she is happy to take a break to spend time with them. Let's have a little snack, Sophia suggests. I know the perfect spot. Sophia leads Jade and Ruby along a row of hedges. Then she pushes aside some ivy, uncovering a wood door. The door opens and the girls step into Sophia's secret garden. It's beautiful, says Ruby. Look at all the butterflies, cries Jade. The girls spread out a blanket and share a plate of cookies. This reminds me of the tea parties we had in the village, Ruby says. Are you throwing a party like this for your princess friends? Sophia sighs. I want to, but they expect a big fancy tea party. That's too bad because I'm having a great time just doing this, says Ruby. Me too, agrees Sophia. After a few more cookies, Sophia sadly says goodbye and gets back to her party planning. Ah, Princess Sophia, you're just in time to choose the plates for your party, Bailiwick says, as Sophia enters the dining room. Sophia looks at all the choices. She likes the simple white ones. Amber shakes her head and holds up a large, shiny golden plate. You need something like this, she declares. Remember, the bigger the better. Sophia gives in and agrees to use the large golden plates. At another table, James is happily munching on swan-shaped cookie. These are great, he declares as crumbs falls from his mouth. You should order 200 of these cookies for your tea party and make them as big as possible, Amber tells Sophia. You'll need a huge swan cake too, Sophia thinks it's too much, but she listens to Amber anyway. Aww. Next, Sophia heads to Cedric's workshop. I'm hosting a tea party tomorrow, and it would be great if you could make all the tables and chairs rise just a little bit off the ground, Sophia exclaims to the royal sorcerer. Do you have a spell that can do that? Floating hoover-a-boo. Cedric points his wand at a beaker on his work table. Floater hoover-a-boo. The beaker twinkles magically and rises to the air. That's terrific, cries Sophia. See you at the party tomorrow. Sophia goes to the swan fountain. Luckily, the magic amulet Roland gave her, the amulet of Avatar, gives her the power to talk to animals. I'm hosting a tea party and I was hoping you could perform a water ballet, she tells the swans. It would be our pleasure, replies Portia. Great to see you, says Sophia, and rushes off to find the perfect tea party dress. As the royal dressmaker hems her gown, Sophia tells her mother about the tea party. It is going to be a big and fancy. Amber says everyone is going to love it. She sighs, but part of me wishes I could just have a sweet tea party like the ones I used to have with Ruby and Jade. I'm sure everyone will be pleased no matter what kind of tea party you throw, says Queen Miranda. The day of Sophia's royal tea party has arrived. As the servants rush about, everything goes wrong. The swan-shaped ice sculpture falls off the cart, slides into the baker, who drops his tray of swan cookies. Then the ice slides into the fountain, scaring the swans. The swans fly into Cedric just as he is casting floating spell. The tables and chairs rise off the ground and float away. Sophia can't believe her eyes. The princess regrets listening to Amber. Her party is ruined, and the guests are on their way. Sophia starts to cry. Oh. Then she spots a butterfly and knows exactly what to do. When the students and fairies arrive, Bailiwick moves aside some ivy, pushes open the wooden door, and welcomes them into Sophia's secret garden. Blankets on the grass have been set with teapots and cups. Butterflies flutter over the flowers, and all the princesses love it, including Amber. Nice job, Sophia. I guess bigger isn't always better, Amber admits. Princess Sophia, what a charming party. Flora tells the hostess, some peppermint tea, pretty garden, and beautiful view. Who could ask for more? All the guests raise their teacups and cheer. The Princess Sophia. Sophia is pleased to learn that even princesses can enjoy simple things. She giggles and raises her own teacup. Hooray for me. Hooray for me. Boys and girls, the end of the perfect tea party. Boys and girls, you know I love a tea party, right? So much so that I used to host tea parties with school on Zooms with my kids, and we used to have tea together. So you know I love a good tea party, and that's one of the reasons why I chose this book. Plus, I wanted to show off all of my Disney friends, and I wanted to say to you, if you ever have a chance to have a tea party and invite some friends, you should absolutely do that. Have your parents set it up over Zoom or FaceTime or whatever it is that you use, and have a tea party with your friends. Get out your plastic or your antique or your glass or your crystal, whatever tea set you have, and get dolled up. You don't have to wear a crown like me. I'm only wearing my Princess Sophia the First crown, and just get together and have a good time with friends. You don't need a reason to have a good time with friends. You don't need tea to have a good time with friends. But tea and friends go perfect together. And that's why I love it. It is Miss Reynolds with B.O.R.E.D, Better Off Reading Every Day, and it's been my pleasure to have a tea party with you. So, let's give it a shot. I am going to pour some tea. Don't want it to fall. And I am going to say, can you see me still? Cheers. Bye, boys and girls. It's been my pleasure to have tea with you. Bye.